Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Daniel Rodriguez to defeat Neil Magny. And I'm here to talk about Jacob Malkoun versus Cody Brundage. Malkoun is 28 years old, 7-2 as a pro, and he's given up 3 inches of height, but has 1 inch of reach over 29-year-old Brundage, who is 8-5 as a pro, and taking this fight on short notice. Jacob Malkoun, he made his debut in the UFC and he got knocked out. Don't think I've forgotten about that. Phil Hawes knocked him dead in 18 seconds, I think. Knocked him dead. And that is an exceptionally dangerous guy, Phil Hawes. He is really fucking dangerous, but he's also really fragile as well, where, that's his defining trait at this point. But I couldn't say that about Malkoun, even though he hasn't fought the competition that Phil Hawes has fought, to be fair. It's not like I'm making a comparison. I'm just saying Malkoun, I thought he was going to be knocked dead in his next fight against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Every one of his wins, aside from one, is a first-round knockout. And that other one is a second-round knockout, I think. But he's definitely a guy that's impressed me in every one of his fights since. He's gone 3-1 since that Phil Hawes fight. Every one of his wins is a dominant victory over Nick Maximov, AJ Dobson, Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Maybe it took him a little bit to get going against AJ Dobson, but that's the thing. He's pretty damn durable, and he's relentless. He's got a good wrestling game and an exceptional gas tank. And these are strengths that, for a young fighter, have proven to be strong enough to find success in the UFC. His other loss, of course, comes in the UFC, and it's a very tight decision to Brendan Allen, who just earned his first headliner fight in the UFC, his first main event. I like Malkoun a lot as a fighter, and I think his path to defeat here, I think Cody Brundage's only path to victory is a knockout, to be frank. Cody Brundage is a versatile guy, too, and he's big and strong and pretty dangerous. So maybe he's got some other paths to victory. But I think a lot of Jacob Malkoun, where I think if I see him in a points battle with Cody Brundage, he's going to be winning that. After seeing him in that Brendan Allen fight and dominate these other guys. And especially because Cody Brundage, I have serious doubts about his gas tank, which I'll get to in a second. And especially in this fight, him taking the fight on short notice, there's a lot more doubt there. I really find myself asking one question here, and that's, is Jacob Malkoun going to get the finish? He's got 2 TKO victories in his 7 wins. The other 5 come by decision. And again, over half of his fights as a professional are in the UFC, because he got there so early. So there's some good competition there. But I think if Jacob Malkoun does get the finish, it's going to be, down the stretch, or maybe the middle of the fight. Because he is a workhorse, and Cody Brundage is a guy that I don't think can keep up with him on a full camp, let alone a half camp or whatever. Cody Brundage is 8-5 as a pro, 7 finishes in his 8 wins, 4 by TKO or knockout, 3 by submission. We've seen a few in the UFC. Dalcha Lunjambula, guillotine in round 1, out of nowhere, really. And he knocked out Tresean Gore, which is a win that's getting better with age, certainly. So Cody Brundage, he's definitely a dangerous enough guy, finding success already at the UFC level and getting these finishes. And he's, again, a much bigger guy than Jacob Malkoun. He's certainly got physicality on his size. But I think if he's not able to knock Jacob Malkoun out in 18 seconds like Phil Hawes did, he's going to be drowned in this fight. I say drowned, implying a finish. I'm not totally sure on it. Of course, I'm going to bet on it. But Cody Brundage, he's lost twice by decision as well. Every one of his losses is in the UFC. He's got 5 losses, 2 by TKO, Michal Oleksiejczuk and William Knight. They're pretty dangerous guys, I'll say. 1 submission loss, Rodolfo Vieira, arm triangle choke round 2. No shame at all in that. And then 2 decision losses, the Nick Maximov and SD Dumas. The Maximov fight was actually pretty close, and I was impressed with his gas tank in that fight alone. But the SD Dumas fight, even though he impressed me by not getting finished and showing he can be the nail for 15 minutes, which was kind of impressive, he shouldn't have been the nail in that fight. He was meant to be the hammer in that fight, and he was the hammer for like 30 seconds or whatever. And then made some serious tactical errors, and kept going for the guillotine once in each round. Whatever, I don't want to harp on that. But my point is, Cody Brundage, I've had doubts about his cardio and his durability. Again, there's no shame in any one of those losses in which he was finished, but you look at them and he's fallen apart. You know, he's a guy that seems like he's susceptible to being discouraged and falling apart, and with a fight on short notice, I'm assuming he's coming in shape and whatever, but the gas tank's never going to be at full, and he's fighting a guy who is just destined to drown somebody in the UFC, and I think this is going to be the fight where he does it. I'm picking Jacob Malkoun to get a finish. I think it's going to happen later in the fight, but yeah, remains to be seen. Cody Brundage, you know, his path to victory is a knockout, and Jacob Malkoun, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he couldn't get the finish and was forced to ride Cody to a decision. But again, I'm leaning towards finish because Malkoun is a workhorse. Cody Brundage, I've had doubts about his cardio, and again, he's taking this fight on short notice. So, whatever. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.